We bought this car before I had a job. It was super like stressful. I was really nervous about it. And I actually got a call from that jeweler like that same day after we bought the car saying he was going to hire me. And it really just like changed my life from there.
Well, g'day guys, Quinn here from Cubicle Free. Today I've got with me a special guest. His name is Sean Mapes, and I'm so excited to have him on the show because he does digital marketing consulting, which is something that he is really good at, and he's made, initially got a job doing it and then created a really good business out of it as well. But I also think he's inspiring because he lives a balanced and awesome life. Great to have you on, Sean.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Quinn. Excited to be here and talk digital marketing and, getting a job in digital marketing and possibly consulting as well.
Yeah, man. So we've been friends for quite a while now. We actually met each other through a digital marketing course. But take us back, Sean. Take us back to when you were, before you even knew about working online, or what were you doing and where did that go?
Before I knew about digital marketing, what was I doing?
Yeah.
Maybe a better question is, what wasn't I doing? I had a lot of different odds and ends jobs, a lot of pretty bad jobs. I mowed lawns for the longest time. Then I tried to go back to school several times for education, to become an English teacher, and I dropped out several times. And then my continuous thing is I always had a job that was like mowing lawns, doing landscaping, and that's what I did to pay the bills. And I think I told you this story the last time. I think my real low was like I graduated college to become I had a major in English and a minor in education, and I had a job for the summer, and then I came back in the fall and looked for a job, and I seriously could not find a job anywhere. I mean, what do you expect when you have an English degree, right? Like, there's not too many like jobs for English majors. But I had my friend set me up with an interview at the county where I was just gonna I just needed a job for anyone. The job was to watch people like take drug tests just to make sure they're not cheating on their drug tests. And somehow I didn't even get the job. Even though I had a friend and an in, that's how bad it was at one point. And so I crawled back to doing more landscaping, and at one point I just had a breaking. I just broke down. I just realized I needed to do something else. And I had a friend that kind of introduced me to Pat Flynn. He's my friend was a developer. He's like, hey, I kind of started this website. Maybe that's something you should look into. You're really passionate about different things, but maybe you should actually I think at this point I was like, maybe I'll go back to school and do this or that. And he's like, hey, there's a thing called Google AdWords where you can actually see like what's popular because that's what people are looking for, Right. You can see these search terms. So I kind of looked at some of these search terms in Google, and that was really my entry into digital marketing. And it was kind of an aha moment of like, you can see what's popular and what people are looking for, and kind of that's kind of gave me the insight of that's where I wanted to follow. It made the most sense for me, and I kind of just dove into it from there. And like I said, I kind of got into it from Pat Flynn. He was starting doing his niche sites, and I kind of started up doing the same thing. I created a small education website to help people pass the GED, and that's kind of how I just cut my teeth learning digital marketing. I figured the best way to do it was just just kind of start a website and learn as I go.
Right.
That's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, Pat Flynn.
Short story long or long.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think Pat Flynn's fantastic. He's got a lot of great content, and has helped a lot of people get into the basics of it, of digital marketing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think he's kind of led the way in like being super transparent in his business, which I think is something that a lot of people can aspire towards, and I think we need that more in the online world.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So you started your own website. Was it what was the sort of idea behind making money from that, and how long did it take you to actually make any money, or did you make any money?
Well, I guess I forget, before that, maybe a couple months before that, before I decided like to just go out and build my own website, I found a local business that was just a friend of mine who had a massage parlor or massage studio, whatever, and so I kind of learned how to use WordPress there. Like I created an internship for myself. I asked him like, hey, I'm trying to learn a new skill, learn websites, and kind of learn how to rank on Google. Can I just do this for your business? And I mean, I don't think most small businesses have a clue what's going on in that area. So, having a volunteer or someone there to figure it out for them, they're more than say welcome to help. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then, like I said, I found Pat Flynn through my friend, and I mean, Pat Flynn had a kind of like a test prep site for what was it, some green building or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I just thought to myself, what is something that I could create a website on and teach people? And for me, it was just like the GED, which in the States is just like kind of a high school equivalency test. And I went to the library and started writing some test prep questions, and kind of, did everything myself to begin with, and learning how to do SEO kind of by watching, you can find anything on YouTube, right?
Very true. Very true.
A lot of tutorials on YouTube of how to even use a WordPress website, to how to optimize it to rank on Google. And that's pretty much it. And email a friend that actually knew how to do stuff with computers.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love that you just took the initiative to help somebody else, a business out. And yeah, it's amazing how many, like you said, like how many small businesses need that help. But I mean, from your perspective, like how awesome, you've got a real test case. You can actually help somebody to make money, which could then lead to consulting or help you to learn how to do your own business. But
yeah, and I mean, for that test prep website, even that was just built out of like a learning experience. Like I still like, I'm not sure how it became so popular, really, like, and became profitable. Like I really didn't do as much research as I feel like people spend years doing research, and then like, to find the right idea, I kind of just like stumbled upon it. I didn't do too much research. I just kind of went for it, and I just looked at it as like a learning experience. Like, hey, I'm just going to try to learn the skills of digital marketing. Like, I didn't think about it as like, this is going to be my career. Like, this is going to one day, be a big part of my income, anything like that.
Right.
I think I really just focused on the skills.
Yeah, yeah. So what made you decide that niche specifically? Was it your background or something you were passionate about, or something that you could see an opportunity in, or all the above?
Yeah, a little bit of the above. Education, I had an education background, so I am passionate about teaching and helping people through education. I worked in a bunch of summer programs, kind of doing similar, working with youth. And I was kind of following some of Pat Flynn's advice on like, here's how you pick a domain and pick a niche. And I just kind of, between the two of like, okay, like, well, I'm not smart enough to be able to write test questions for the bar or for whatever, like, for whatever, all these different test preps, I just decided like I was just going to model what he was doing and do a different test. And I figured I could actually write decent questions for the GED. So that's how I got started, really. It's amazing looking back.
Yeah. And like what sort of, when did you start that?
I started it, I think it was February of 2013.
Right on. So pretty recently, really. I mean,
yeah.
And so it's been going 4 years, basically. And how's it doing? And what was the sort of, how long did it take before you made some money out of it? And what was the sort of process?
It probably took a good 6 months to be able to like actually start getting some decent money from the website. Yeah, and it makes money through Google AdSense. So that's like those banner ads on your website, right, that people click on. So the thing about the website is it has its ups and downs like everything else, you know. It's like that's the kind of, stuff in hindsight. It kind of, when you're getting traffic from Google but also getting paid from Google, it's you're very reliant on them. So if your rankings go up, your earnings go up a ton. If your rankings go down, you get the picture. But yeah, so 6 months probably before I got like any decent earning, and probably a good year and a half before it was making a decent amount of money. Probably making a year down the line, I was probably making $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Sometimes 5, and yeah,
man, that's a huge win from nothing to that. That's that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, really, like I was working a job for $10 an hour mowing lawns, and when I started I think the first day I made any money, it was like $10, and I was just through the roof. I was so excited. Like, I was like, I made $10 and I didn't like push a lawnmower for an hour. Like, it was crazy, like
totally.
Definitely. It's one of those things that, I think it gets so hyped up that you just don't think it's possible. But then like when it actually happens to you, it's like, holy shit. Like it's possible. Like it's real.
Yeah. And that site's still working for you now? Yeah,
that site's still doing well. Now I have a team of people that helps me kind of run it, and I've been able to actually hire teachers to help create better test questions, and hire a developer to help just improve the website. And it's going really well. I mean, that's my primary source of income. Yeah.
Wicked, man.
That and doing consulting, yeah.
So, yeah, I know at some point you started this site and then you shifted gears and thought that you would look for a job in digital marketing, or what happened there? Take us through.
We talking about consulting or working in-house?
Well, in-house came first, right?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I mean, I worked for my friend's massage place, and I helped them rank locally really well. And I was kind of starting to get some people coming to the test prep website. And I basically leveraged that to get a job at a local jeweler. I just kind of showed them the results that I had gotten. I was also, for the massage place, I was doing some social media and stuff like that. And that's really what the interview was for. Their jeweler was looking for a person to run social media. And I showed up to the interview, and I basically showed him all this different ways that I could improve his business, starting with social media, but going, to much deeper things when it comes to ranking, and it comes to all these different aspects that I could bring to the business. And yeah, I mean, that was a real big turning point. I was actually thinking about it today, because I was thinking about selling the car that actually right after I had that interview, we just bought a car, and Nissan Sentra, nothing like fancy, not a fancy car at all, because that's like all we could afford at that point. My girl, my wife was a nanny at that point, not making good money at all. And we bought this car before I had a job, and it was super stressful. I was really nervous about it. And I actually got a call from that jeweler that same day after we bought the car, saying he was going to hire me. And it really just changed my life from there. It gave me so much confidence that I could actually provide services and this guy chose me out of all these different people with way more experience than I had in social media marketing. But I think he just saw, especially in a small business, it's like someone so valuable that can wear different hats, and they usually hire someone for one thing, but they realize like they need so much more, like they had no one doing any digital marketing for them really. So
yeah, right. And I'd love to know, like, what do you think it was that made you win the interview over all those other guys with all that experience? Like, I mean, you've got like 1 year's experience, and like you've worked on 2 websites total.
Yeah, not even. Yeah, I think I'd been doing it, like I started in the fall, and this was like, so maybe I'd been doing it 6 months, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, so what changed between me not being able to get a job, watching people do piss tests, to all of a sudden getting a job in digital marketing? The big thing was I actually stumbled upon Ramit Sethi's, some of his stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he has a lot of stuff on job interviewing and just getting basic skills of going to an interview. And he made me realize that, like, if I got a bunch of interviews, like I'd prep for them a little bit. I prepped for them a few hours, but I didn't do enough preparation when I was going into interviews. And when I heard that I was, I did a few things with the jeweler. When I saw their ad, I called them up. I just made myself known that I really wanted this job. I called them up, which I don't think probably anyone else really did. Because it was just listed jeweler in this city. So I just did Google search and I found them, and I was like, hey, you should interview me for this position. So I really just went above and beyond. And even like I was saying before, I might prep for a couple of hours for an interview. Like, I heard I had the interview like a week away, and I think literally all I did was prep for that interview for a week. Like, I just did a bunch of research. I knew I was going in for social media marketing, and I researched how does Facebook's algorithm work and all this type of stuff. And I just over prepared. And the cool thing that Ramit teaches in some of his stuff, just like his free material, which pretty much got me this job, was he teaches go into the interview if it's a marketing position and basically with a bunch of your proposal almost. Like, I just handed in this proposal of all these changes and updates and things that I can improve in his business. And I think that's what really set me apart. I think everybody else kind of did what I used to do in just a couple hours of prep and look into the business. But I had a whole proposal for him of all these different areas that I can improve his business. Yeah. I think that's what you have to do. You just have to set yourself apart. I did that by calling in so they know, I'd spoken to some of the salespeople before I even went in, and then just going prepare for it and go way above and beyond. And I think you can get a job in digital marketing pretty easily. Man. I did it.
Yeah, I think your initiative, just from an employer's perspective, at the end of the day, there's probably most of the things you're going to have to do, you're going to have to learn on the job anyway. And so your initiative and your really wanting to work with them really shone through. I bet you it was a no-brainer for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. In hindsight, it's no, you do come to that prepared, especially knowing more about small businesses. There's, 8 people that work there. It's not a huge business by any means, but they don't have a marketing department or anything. It was mostly the owner who was handling a lot of the marketing. Yeah. So to be able to take a bunch of that off his plate, I think that's what he saw, someone to take all this stuff that he should be doing more of and actually bring in more people, and somebody who's willing to learn, because he doesn't have the time to learn how to do all this stuff because he's, doing people's paychecks and managing the store and all that.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And I think the other thing I love about this story and that the potential is huge. If you think of the number of small businesses that are needing somebody to come in and give them a hand, and you know, there just isn't people with that experience, or enough people with that experience. So I think it's a phenomenal opportunity, and you can only imagine it growing in the future. But also, the skills that you're learning, you're getting paid to learn, are unbelievable for any kind of digital marketing, which leads us nicely to what happened next for you, which is to move into consulting eventually. And so tell us why you made that switch from working for somebody to consulting, and what happened.
Yeah, I mean, so I'd worked at the jeweler in-house, and things were going really well. I really liked it, but at some point it's just like, I mean, I also had the test prep on the side, and I had built that up, and I kind of had it more hands off and a team working on it. So I was looking like, what do I want to do next in digital marketing and kind of advance, you know, keep pushing my skills. And I was just like, I kept on hearing about consulting, like you should consult, you know, digital marketing. So I thought that'll be the thing I do. You know, I'm already doing this for the jeweler. Like I can get other clients. I have good experience. I've managed pretty decent sized budgets. I've done social media. I've done Google AdWords. I've done a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to try to do my own consulting. And I started out by myself doing it, and then I joined up with a partner. And the thing I realized, especially by myself, is it's a lot different being in-house and just being the marketing guy, because all you are is the marketing guy, right? You're the one who clicks the buttons and you bring in people, bring in sales and stuff like that. But being a consultant is a whole different story that they don't really it's the whole idea of you can be the best digital marketer, but it doesn't mean you're going to have all the clients. You know, you can be the best, you know, at any business, but it doesn't matter if you don't know how to market yourself and you don't know how to bring in sales. And I think that was when I went out by myself at first in consulting, is realizing all these different hats that you're going to be wearing. I mean, especially I think I'd only been doing digital marketing for a couple of years at that point. So not only are you handling digital marketing, but you're going to be the salesperson who's talking to all these people.
Right.
I'm not the best salesperson. It wasn't something that I was comfortable with. Like, especially some of the techniques that that a lot of people were preaching were kind of like harder sale and more aggressive sales tactics that I just wasn't comfortable with. So it made me feel like I wasn't a good salesperson. And yeah, just consulting it's a lot of work when it comes down to it, because every business is different. If you know, I know the jeweler's business, but now I have to learn this person's business and that person. The more clients you get, the less time you have, and you have to manage. If you hire contractors, then you have to manage them, right? To manage the accounts, and it's a lot.
Yeah, I can relate. So yeah, like in terms of specializing, is that helpful? Because I hear that, you know, focusing on certain aspects. I mean, one of the big struggles that I had with digital marketing consulting was I wanted to help everybody, you know, and so whether it be Facebook or SEO, or I was just doing way too much, and I was also, like you say, trying to make the sales and everything. But you kind of specialized, I think, a little bit. Tell us about that, and how did that help?
Yeah, I do think that helped. After kind of going on doing consulting by myself, I decided I knew someone in town in the road to digital marketing as well. And I think we're probably the only two that are like super into digital marketing. So we kind of decided, hey, why don't we team up? Like, feels more comfortable doing sales, so he'll do sales and some of our marketing, and I'll kind of manage some of the accounts and manage our team. Where was I going? What was the question again? I
Yeah, no, that's good. So you got together and then you were able to focus on some of your strengths individually, which made you more powerful, I guess, as a team. But so from there, did you specialize in any particular area of digital marketing, or did you just try and do everything?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a mistake that my partner had made, and I kind of, with some of the small consulting I'd done before I teamed up with him, is we kind of did everything, you know, like we're the digital marketing shop that can do SEO, we can do Google ads, we can build you a website if you need, you know, whatever you need, we can do it, you know, we can do everything. We can't do anything that good, that whole thing, you know. So we kind of decided, like, Facebook, this was, you know, a couple years ago, and we're like, Facebook advertising seems to be really coming into its peak. It's really cheap, and it was just, you know, you can do really well in it. It was easy to get into, and so we just kind of decided that's all we're going to do is we're just going to focus on Facebook advertising. So that's pretty much all we did. We had a couple here and there where we would get clients for Facebook ads and they'd want us to run some Google AdWords. But I mean, 98% of what we did was just Facebook ads. And I will say that just honing down to just doing Facebook ads, it did help, because I think it set us apart. And yeah, I mean, we when we first got started, we just did a bunch of white labeling for those digital marketing agencies that do everything, because it's like, especially in online marketing, it's hard to do everything. There's so many different components. Like, how do you keep up on SEO and AdWords and all these different things? You really can't. So a lot of those places ended up with small agencies that we would end up running Facebook ads for. So.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped when people are searching around, looking for who to, you know, we want someone to run Facebook ads, by just saying, like, all we do is Facebook ads. Here's the results for this client and this client, just for Facebook ads. I mean, it definitely gives you more power. Makes it a little easier to win clients. That's for sure. I think in hindsight, we could have taken it. I kind of wanted to take it even further and niche down and just work with, you know, LASIK eye surgeons or something like that, you know.
Right.
But we decided to start niching just with, like, the type of service that we provided. So Facebook.
So tell us, okay, so timeline-wise, from starting digital marketing, how did that progress in terms of, you know, where you got to with that and how long that's taken?
Where I got to with the agency, or?
Yeah, so you started digital marketing, and I'm just wondering how long it took for you to start making some good money, and you know, where that took you, I guess. So you when you started working for yourself, that was how long did you do that for?
So I worked for myself for probably 6 months before I joined my partner. I mean, I still had my first client was just a jeweler, and then I had a handful of, I did some coaching and with small businesses and stuff like that, but really that was about it. When I joined up with the person I knew in town, I mean, our agency grew, and we got some pretty decent clients, and we did some really big launches with some big clients, but it was a ton of work, to be honest. So it kind of got me thinking, it's like the grass is greener situation. Like, I was working, you know, 80 hours a week sometimes on these campaigns. I went down to Florida for vacation for Christmas, and we were doing a huge book launch for trying to get on top of the New York Times for this New York Times, like, best-selling books or whatever. So we're right in the thick of it, and it's like right around Christmas, and I'm like, see my family like playing in the pool, and I'm like on the computer, like managing these campaigns and making what's a strategy for how are we going to spend this much money tomorrow and all this. And I don't know, I had to just realize it wasn't worth it, you know, like, and I still had this test prep business that was like making pretty much just as much money, if not more money than I was at my agency. And I was putting in 4 hours, 5 hours a month for it. I mean, I had a team working on it, you know.
And that is why I love affiliate marketing. Yeah, but I think digital marketing consulting can play a really good role as well. Tell us, so how far did you go with that? And I mean, what sort of future is there for digital marketing in terms of, you know, having a good lifestyle as well?
I mean, there's so much potential with digital marketing. I mean, if I could go back in time and know what I know now, I mean, especially like I was kind of just like a wanderer in my 20s and I had no income, you know, like I was mowing lawns and moving from random, you know, moving all over and getting these random jobs. Like to know like you can get a good job, like paying like a good job in digital marketing. Like I got my first job at the jeweler for $40,000. Like that was a really big deal for me. Like with no training, didn't relate to my college degree at all. My degree didn't help me at all to get that job.
Yeah.
To know that someone could, instead of go to college, just, you know, study digital marketing online for a while for, you know, 3 to 6 months and get a job and, you know, be in their mid-20s or whatever and go travel. Man, I wish I could go back in time and do that.
Yeah.
That's the best part is like the freedom to be able to work from whatever. That's what I love about it.
So if you're going to start on $40,000 in a job like that, what would you be realistically earning in 2-3 years? Say what's reasonable?
What's a good? I don't. Really depends on the place, you know. Like I think realistically, I think like 3 to 5 years. I think you can make them 60. Like it really depends on the place and whether you want to branch off and do your own thing. You know, I think $100,000 sounds like a lot of people, like a lot of money to people when they just work for themselves all the time. Like it just sounds like a ton of money. At least, I mean, I grew up in a working class home. You know, that's a ton of money. And then to make $100,000, it's like, oh, it's really not that big of a deal. Like once you get that entrepreneurial bug and you learn how to see the world a little different, and then I think all you do is see opportunity, you know. But for digital marketing, it's like, I don't know, there's so much potential. I mean, yeah, easily I think you can start out getting a job working, you know, if you do create an internship like I did, you know, to get your foot in the door. That's all you have to do. People always say, well, I don't have an experience. Create an internship. I mean, I volunteered for free and then I just put it on my resume as an internship. I mean,
I love that,
especially with the small business, or, you know, if I would go back in time, I'd work with go after nonprofits. Right. Nonprofits need so much help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think easily starting out getting a job at 35, 40, I think that's pretty reasonable. But I think in, you know, 3 to 5 years, you can be making 60 or 75.
Wow. I mean,
what's the median? I think the median for digital marketers is like 65, 70, something like that.
Yeah. And I've seen jobs like, you know, it really depends on whether you're a mover, whether you want to be a mover or a shaker, you know, like you can, and where you live too. Like there's a lot of jobs where you can work from home, which, you know, obviously means that you're saving a lot of money based on where you live potentially, but also you don't have to buy fancy clothes and commute and all that kind of stuff. But also what, you know, in addition to having something that I think can be extremely rewarding and has a great future, it sounds like you don't even have to go to college to actually do this. Like, so you don't have to spend like $100,000 getting educated in the first place. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to bring that up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wish I didn't go to school. You know, I wish I didn't go to college. I wish I knew better, and I would have just gotten into it at a younger age. But there's part of me. For me, I think a lot of people go to college because they feel it's going to make them feel more significant and feel like, I don't know, I feel like we live in a society where we're waiting for someone to tell us that we're good enough.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I think college is about, you know, in a way. It's to feel significant and feel that you're better than someone and you're smarter. But it's all a line of bull. I mean,
yeah, man.
You can go out and do whatever you want right now. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need a college degree. So.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, significance Yeah, well, it's funny. I feel like we try to be significant by doing what others are doing, and really we need to look within and just find joy within ourselves, and that then makes us leaders and therefore significant. We're taught to do it the wrong way around.
Yeah.
But man, that's a wild story. I love it. So I know that 4 years down the track, and you're, so still fairly early on in your career in terms of digital marketing, but you've got very wise words, and I'm interested to hear what you think about life balance. Because you had this kind of epiphany in around Christmas time that you were working so many hours, probably making some good money, no doubt. But where are you now with it all?
I think it's an ongoing thing of always reminding yourself and keeping yourself in check. But I'm definitely, since I left the agency doing Facebook ads, I mean, I have so much more freedom in my life that's something I value so much, to just be able to have breakfast and have dinner with my wife and our daughter, or to go out to walks, or just decide she and my wife will invite me to go to the park with them and I'll go to the park. I think just to have that freedom to go do whatever you feel like in that moment, and get to your work after that. I think it's easy to lose touch and chase the money. And I think that's what it comes down to. But what's the money buying you? Why do you want the money? Because you dumb. I mean, why not just go after the freedom then, right?
Yeah, or have both, which seems quite possible. Have a balance of both, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I think it's a constant checking in with yourself, and it takes time. I mean, working from home, I think, is also, it's a double-edged sword. It's awesome because I get to spend time with my family, but it's also there's less of that barrier of hey, if I commute to work, then I can physically leave work there, And I think that is one of the struggles that I think a lot of people that work online, especially that are entrepreneurs, deal with. Yeah, for sure. Man, I want to leave on that note. I feel like you've given us so much gold. But before we go, I just want you to tell us, give us some pointers. If you were somebody who was kind of thinking about, digital marketing, doing a website, what would you do? Take us back. Now that you've got this wisdom, where would you start?
Yeah, I mean, if I could go back in time, if you know someone, an aunt or uncle, family member, friend that has a small business, just volunteer to help them out. See if you can get them to give access to their website. Like, start there. Start with the relationships you have. I think that's a good place to start, and just start learning about managing their social media and trying to get access to their website to see if you can help them with search engine optimization. But from there, I mean, I would just Google different businesses, Google yoga studios in your city, and volunteer with some of these businesses to help them out. Like, just tell them straight up, like, I want to be your free intern and help you out. I think that's one aspect to go down, and just find these businesses. Like, find the business that is just, how Google has their local pack of like 5 or so, like businesses. Find the one that's just below that.
Right.
See if you can help them out and bring them into the top 5. That's a big result to show to a business, and that'll bring them a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's what I would look for. Look for the businesses that are just out of, just not on the first page and that type of stuff. See if you can get them on the first page and bring them a ton of results. But I also feel like the huge opportunity that no one really talks about is like nonprofits. Having volunteered with some nonprofits, I mean, they're even more clueless about digital marketing than small businesses are. And I think that's just part of the nonprofit world. They're so focused on their mission, right? Like that sometimes they lose sight of like getting volunteers and the actual, getting volunteers and making the money to donate, that type of stuff. But the big thing is, I would find some local nonprofits near you, and a great way to be able to get some experience in the Google AdWords managing, like, that's a lot of responsibility. And I don't know if a lot of businesses would let like someone brand new manage a campaign, a business, like if they didn't know anything. But you can go to a nonprofit, and like, no one knows this, no one ever talks about it, but there's something called Google Grants, where nonprofits actually get, like, Google will give them $10,000 a month in advertising.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a lot of nonprofits. That's like game changing.
Yeah, for sure.
But they don't even know it's there. Just think of how much value you bring to that nonprofit just by letting them know about it.
I love it, man.
Say, like, there's this program. Would you let me manage Google Ads for you? Well, we don't have any money. What if I could give you $10,000 in advertising per month? And I'll help manage it, and I'll figure it out from there. I mean, it's free money at that point. There's nothing to you can really suck at Google AdWords, and you'll be getting them some results. It's just a numbers game at that point.
Yeah, that's true. And then once you've got this experience, you can do whatever you choose, whether it be work for somebody else or work for yourself, or the world is your oyster.
Yeah, I think too much focus on the end result of like, we want a job. Okay, I want to make this much money. But if you just focus on gaining the skills, all that stuff is going to come. Yeah. So if you're serious about digital marketing, just get in there and start learning some of these skills. But I mean, learn firsthand. That's the problem. Is so many people like don't YouTube videos and watch how to do SEO. Like, find somebody that has a business that you can help out with, or start your own website. That's just your own brand, like that'll set you apart from a lot of other applicants as well. And at least teach you how to build a WordPress website. And it's a valuable skill as well.
Nice one, Sean. Thanks, man. Really appreciate this. And if anybody wanted to contact you, how would they go about that?
Yeah, you can go to my website. It's just SeanMapes.com.
Nice. MAPES.
Yep, SeanMapes.
.com. Awesome, man. Great having you.
Yeah, it was awesome talking, Quinn. Thanks so much for having me.
If you've enjoyed watching this YouTube channel and it's your first time here, please subscribe, like or comment, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week.